my friends. Welcome back. We are here on another, I guess you could say this is a milestone episode if you are someone who considers every single, uh, you know, 5 or 10 number a milestone. Because we're here on episode 35, and yeah, kind of crazy, right? Kind of crazy. We've burned through 35 episodes. That takes a lot of time, and I'm proud of it. I hope that you're still having a good time, enjoying it, and I hope that we will be continuing on to reach some more milestones. Who knows how many more? We'll find out together. But yeah, this is episode 35. We're here in April of 2026. Yeah, we started in what? Was it September? I think it was the first. I'm not really sure. I think the first episode dropped in September. Man, those were some crazy times. Remember when we used to have a weekly podcast? Man, that was a lot of work. I'm not going to lie to you. I remember. This is just a little nostalgia trip for you and unrelated to the episode, which we'll talk about soon. But like, I remember those days. I would like go to the movies on a Sunday, and then I would have to sprint home to get to be ready for the episode upload because I would the second it posted, I would like post it everywhere on the internet because it was very important to be timely. And yeah, I remember those days quite well. So to some extent, I'm quite happy. I mean, I don't know. I think a monthly is a more than fair cadence. But and if you don't know what the word cadence means, it means what's the right word? Rhythm? Is that the right word? Like a rhythm, and in this sense, it means the amount that you upload, regularity in which you upload. Uh, is that really what the word means? I guess I don't know. You know, it's interesting. Sometimes when you try to explain what a word means, but you never really had to do that, and trying to think about how you describe what a word means when you don't really know the textbook definition, like at work, right? Like I have a weekly cadence where I share updates on a client with like a bunch of management people. That's what we call it. But what does that actually mean? You know what I mean? I mean, for me, it means a weekly sharing of stuff. But that's not the definition. I'm not speaking very good. Dictionary definition of what cadence means. So I don't know, just an interesting thought I had today. But today, here in April, we're going to be talking about something that I think is, I think it's important, and I think some people lose sight of this because it's easy to, be overwhelmed or, I guess, kind of be a little overly focused on yourself and what you're feeling and not putting yourself in others' shoes. I know it's a situation that I've certainly been in before, and it's something I've worked really, 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 really hard to not do as much, and I think I've gotten a lot better at it. But what we're talking about here is, I mean, there's not, again, this is, I guess, going to be a situation where I try to think about how to word this in a way that makes sense because I have the thoughts in my head, but I'm not sure how to word it. So we're going to be talking about just, when you have a disagreement with someone, maybe someone important in your life, whether that be a close friend, family, a partner, whoever it may be, you have some kind of disagreement, right? And your natural inclination is, of course, to be upset and to think, and I think it's somewhat an immature way of thinking because I know we've all had those teenager moments, maybe when we were teenagers, maybe when we were older, where it's like, they just don't understand me, they just don't get me, I hate them, I'll show you, mother, you are so mean that you said something mean to me or said that, that you didn't think this person was good for my life or whatever it may be, something like that, right? And we've all had those moments. And I think reaching a point where you can have a look from another person's perspective, it really is important to see things from other people's perspectives and try to be, I'm not sure if empathetic, I guess that would be a word you could use there, like empathetic of how that person is feeling. It's very important. And the idea that I think it's really important to recognize the fact that when when you know someone cares about you or loves you, right? Like, again, a close friend or a partner or a family member. And I'm not saying, and I realize I'm very conscious of the fact that some people might say, well, my family is actually just shit and they don't care about me that much. They're just manipulative assholes. So I'm fully aware that some people do end up with families like that. But I would say if you're in a situation where you're dealing with someone who, and take a step back, understand, but like if someone that genuinely cares about your well being, it's important to see things from their perspective and to understand them and not to necessarily take things personally, um, and to talk it out when needed, such as, a situation where maybe, maybe someone, that cares about you said something that hurt you, seemed a little mean, a little harsh. They said, I don't think this is good for you. You're being stupid here, something like that, right? You're, you shouldn't you be in this relationship. You shouldn't be spending so much time with this person. I don't think they're good for you, And you do see it in the movies and stuff too, where it's like, I think honestly, it's like a movie cliche more than anything. Like, I don't like that you're spending so much time around these guys. They're not good for you. And then it's like, you just don't care about me. They're my best friends. And then in the movie, the group actually does end up manipulating them or something. And then the friend that said that was right all along or whatever, that kind of cliche in movies. Um, so I think it's, yeah, it comes down to, again, taking a step back. And in those movies and stuff, we see always like the main character never, maybe like after the fact, they have that realization, like after they've been let down by those other friends, or those other friends manipulate them, or whatever bad stuff happens, because it's a movie. Whatever bad stuff happens will happen, and then it's like, whoa, that's crazy, and I'm sorry, I've learned from my sins. I'll be a better friend in the future to you, friend who wanted the best for me all along, etc., etc. But it's it's something that I think you can really gain a lot of value for taking a step back. And in the moment, you might be a little heated, and you might say, like, wow, that was like they really did not express that well. Like, they were kind of an ass when they said, like, like that they don't like that my partner doesn't seem to pay attention to me, or is, like, whatever it may be. There's like a million different examples, right? But oh, I didn't like that they said that my partner was being rude to me when they said that I should order the salad instead of the hamburger because I'm chunky. Well, that's not, that's, they just don't understand the relationship I have, blah, blah, blah. Instead, you can take a step back and you can say, yeah, I didn't like the way that they said that, but they're looking out for me. They felt bad because someone was mean to me or someone mistreated me, which, I think saying, hey, you're a fatty, you should order the salad is, no matter how you slice it, that's not a very nice thing to say to someone, right? So someone that loves and cares about you, like, let's just say a brother, for example, like your big brother takes you and he goes, man, I don't think, this, like, I don't know if Jenny's like right for you. I'm just going to use it. We're going to have the straight one. Okay. This is the straight edition. I don't think Jenny's right for you. Like, that was really rude that she said, don't you think you should be ordering the salad? You've put on a lot of weight or something. That wasn't really cool. Like, she really doesn't like care about you for you. She just wants you to, to be sexy and skinny or whatever, you know what I mean? And to look at it from all perspectives, right? And then have that conversation with your brother where maybe they didn't say it so nice, right? Like in that example, they said it kind of nice, but maybe they said like, bro, Jenny's a bitch. Like, that's fucked up. Like, I don't like she's not right for you, dude. Like, she's an asshole. And then you feel bad, right? Because you love Jenny and your brother's just being a dick. And, now we have an argument. And now, yeah, my family just doesn't get me. They're jerks. But take a step back and think about that, from your brother's perspective in that situation, and think like, wow, like, yeah, that sucks. Like, if I heard someone say something really mean to him, like, that would upset me as well. Would I handle it better? I mean, maybe, but it's easy to say, yeah, I would have handled that situation better when you're not in that situation, right? Where maybe if that situation happened to you, you would also act emotionally like your brother did in this scenario. Maybe you would be acting emotionally too, because when emotional things happen, sometimes people act emotionally, and that's okay. And it's okay that sometimes the wrong thing might get said. Is it right that your brother called Jenny a bitch? Well, probably not, but he was upset that she was pretty rude to you, and he loves you. So take a step back, look at the situation. Well, Jenny really does care about me, and think about the situation and think like, yeah, she's she does care about me. Could she have handled it better as well? Yes, but also, she's upset because she doesn't want to see me die early from, this path that I'm taking where I'm putting on a lot of weight, I have high blood pressure, whatever, bad things. Like, she cares about me as well. And so this is like, a situation where she acted emotionally and maybe said some stupid shit when she could have said it a little nicer, right? My brother said something kind of stupid because he was acting emotional. Understand, there doesn't have to be a villain. There could be no one truly like evil in this kind of scenario. It can just be a situation where, yeah, Jenny was emotional. She acted kind of rude. My brother was emotional. He acted kind of rude, but it's because they both care about me and they both want what's best for me. And they both acted a little stupid because, again, when you are emotional, when you're in an emotional type situation, you might say some stupid shit, and it's okay. And it happens. And now, mind you, if someone is really just an asshole in your life, you shouldn't put up with that, right? But you do need to take a step back and say, yeah, both of these people care about me clearly. Could they have done it better? Yes. And I'm going to talk to them about it. Hey, Jenny, like, that was kind of like, that really hurt me and hurt my family to see, and you don't have to call anyone out, but like, yeah, like, it hurts them as well to see you like say that like in front of everyone. Like, they thought like everyone kind of, including me, were kind of hurt by that. And then ideally, right, she's gonna say, yeah, I could have handled that better, sorry, yeah, I'll be more mindful and try to say it in a more constructive way. I just care about you a lot, and this is the ideal way the conversation's gonna go, right? Maybe she is really just a biatch, and she just really doesn't like you because you're not as sexy as you once were. But like, what was I saying? Yeah, like, this is the ideal conversation. She says, yeah, I screwed up. Sorry about that. And then you talk to your brother and you say, hey, like, I get that you were hurt for me, but like, like, don't call my partner a bitch. Like, even if you're upset, whatever, like, that's not cool. Like, that's my future, my wife, or fiance, girlfriend, whatever it may be. Like, she's my future. Like, you can't talk about her like that, no matter what. No matter the fact that she hurt you, like, you need to be respectful of her, because that's my wife. So you need to stand. It's important, I think, because sometimes in situations like this, you might be tempted to take one side, right? Like, you take Jenny's side and you say, yeah, I'll cut off my brother because he was rude to you. Whereas you don't really need to take a side here. This is a situation where having a conversation can fix it, and you can move on from there, and everyone can do better because no one was perfect in the situation, and you don't really need to be taking sides. You can acknowledge that, yes, your brother said some dumb shit. Yes, Jenny said some dumb shit. Everyone screwed up. Maybe it's, maybe we can acknowledge whatever. They might have stuff going on in their life that made them act out a little bit at that time. Or at the end of the day, it can just be that they really care about you, and loving and caring about someone is hard, and it makes you act emotionally sometimes. And we all do that. And that's what makes us human, is that we have fights, we have disagreements, we have arguments, and everyone might think that they're doing it the right way. And in reality, maybe we're all stupid. Maybe everyone did it the wrong way. Maybe every single person in that scenario handled it wrong. And so be it. That's what happens in life. We make mistakes, we say dumb shit, and we move on. Ideally, we move on, because it doesn't have to end with any of those people feeling like, that they can't speak their mind, because everyone should be able to speak their mind. It's just about how you express it, because we could have had that same scenario go down where everyone kind of said it more gracefully, and we wouldn't be in this situation where, where there's all these disagreements. We could have handled it better, and it is important to learn. I mean, if the same situation happens like 100 times, well, maybe it's a different conversation to be having because clearly people are not improving and learning from the situation. But I don't think it's a situation where you just have that one disagreement and then you end up cutting someone off, or you break up with Jenny, or you never don't speak to your brother anymore because you're angry at him what he said. It sucks, but sometimes people will say shit that hurts you. And there's a difference between people who are just kind of assholes and like probably shouldn't be a part of your life because they're jerks, versus your loved one who really, really, really cares about you and said something slightly dumb because loving someone that much is hard. Caring about someone is really hard. It's much easier to just not care about anyone. So when you do feel that kind of way about someone and you are seeing them in your perspective being hurt, and that doesn't mean that your perspective is always right, because sometimes we're defensive of people we care about. I know for me, there's been a lot of situations where there's someone I really, really, really care about, and I'm extra defensive, and sometimes even unfairly, of a partner or of another one of their friends, or even just like someone they're interested in, maybe not a partner or a friend, just like someone maybe that they have a crush on or whatever, right? And I've had a lot of those situations where I probably didn't quite treat the person fairly because it's scary when you know that someone you really care about's well-being or emotions are in someone else's hands, and that's scary because you want it to be in your hands because you know them, you care about them, and you trust yourself, and you don't necessarily, and it's not a bad thing in this situation, in saying that, yeah, I don't fully trust this person to take care of them because I don't know this person that well, for example. We could say in this relationship, maybe Jenny and my brother don't know each other that well, and so my brother doesn't really know if Jenny's kind of a bitch taking advantage of me or if she really, really cares about me, right? And he's scared because putting like my well-being in someone else's hands is scary. Yeah, and I think we're all scared of that kind of thing when it's someone we really care about, because it's hard. It's very hard to be able to trust. And I mean, I think it's something that comes in time, and maybe you can feel it more in time, but it's also important to understand again that we're all human, feeling emotions, and it's okay to feel those emotions, and it's about how we respond to them and how we react and how we talk about it, because the worst thing you can do is just not talk about it. Just let the angry feelings fester from something like that where it didn't go that great, and now you're just mad and you got negative feelings toward Jenny. Now you got negative feelings toward your brother. It's just negatives all around. That sucks. So that's where the value comes in talking about it, because yeah, it's okay. It's okay to feel things, and it's okay to understand that. I've had a lot of these type of situations in the last few years, and I can speak from a vulnerable position here, from someone going through a long-term breakup with a lot of people that care about you. Sometimes people will say or act in a certain way, and it's because they're hurting from that situation as well. Just like in my previous example, my brother was hurting because Jenny said something rude to me, and he didn't like that. It's okay to acknowledge, and this is something I feel like I've gotten really good at, and saying to people, I understand that you're hurting and that you said this shit that hurt me, and I want you to be able to hurt. And the way I've always phrased it is like, I know that you need to hurt from this, but you doing it in the way that you did that, the way that you said that to me, the way that you talked about this situation to me was not beneficial to me. It really, really, really hurt me. And so I want you to be able to feel things, and I understand that you're feeling these emotions, but you need to do it in a way that doesn't hurt me. And if we're, again, going back to that previous situation, we could say, Jenny, I get it. like what you're doing, but that hurt me and hurt my brother when you said it right in front of everyone. So maybe if a situation like that happens and you're feeling something, instead of blurting it out at the table, maybe we can have a discussion about it at home later and talk about it. You know, and, maybe I tell my brother in that situation, hey, I understand that hurt you, but next time try to, say it in a more diplomatic way. Think about it from her perspective as well. And talk to, when you're airing your grievances to me, say them in a more constructive and kind of nice way, because it really hurts me. That's the person that I love, and you just called them a bitch. That really hurt me. So I need you to be more constructive in the way that you talk to me when you have these kind of grievances in the future. And that's basically, again, the thing that I've done a lot over the past couple years. And I wasn't always good at it. Sometimes I reacted in the, before I got better at it, I would act emotionally too and just get mad that they got upset or whatever. And, if they yelled, I'd yell back and stuff, when there's not really much value in that. I never found that it led to a good outcome or that we had a constructive conversation. It's just kind of like, okay, that sucked. Whereas saying, I get you. I understand where your heart is, but here's the way we can do this better. Because we all need to be able to feel bad about things. We all need to be able to grieve, care about people, whatever it may be. We need to be able to express these emotions, but there is a way to express them where no one needs to feel like shit, really, right? At the end of the day, like, you can feel, you're not going to feel great all the time. Hard conversations happen where, you might feel bad after them, but no one needs to feel like it's a personal attack against them, or like it's just someone being mean to someone else just for the heck of it. It needs to be understood that there's a reason why these things were said, and what's that reason? And I think oftentimes, if we really just take a step back and go, well, why did Tim, say that? Why did he act so emotionally? And like kind of what we've been analyzing this thing, you take a step back and you say, like, and I'm like, why did, Bob or whatever name, why did Frank, whatever name we put in here for the brother, like, why did they react that way when Jenny said that? Well, because they care about me. They don't know Jenny, and they care about me, and it hurt them when she said that about me. Okay? Now, again, they don't know Jenny, so maybe I should say, listen, Frank, this was a situation where Jenny admits she handled it wrongly. She does not treat me like that. She's a good person, and I need you to understand that. Yeah, she fucked up. She admits it, but I really didn't like the way that you handled that either. So I think in the future, you need to be respectful of her as well. She's going to work on being more respectful to me, so we don't have a situation like this where you have to feel like I'm attacked, but trust me when I say that, she treats me well. She cares about my well-being. And my headset was doing some weird stuff there. But that she treats me well and that we're mean. I've said mean things to people before, too, in the heat of the moment because I care. And it hurts when you're seeing someone be self-destructive. For example, my little brother is overweight, and I've said mean shit before. He's not in good health, mind you. And I've said shit before that probably wasn't the nicest because I want him to live a good long life and not die before me because he's in really bad health, right? And there's a better way to phrase it, and I've definitely phrased it in mean-ass ways before. And it's not because, like, oh, I'm just an asshole and I don't care about my brother. No, if I didn't care about my brother, I just would say nothing and not. It would be, whatever. The reason why is caring is hard. Again, caring is the hardest thing, and it would be way easier in the situation where I just said, my brother Frank had that situation with Jenny being mean to me. It would be way easier if he didn't give a shit about me, and he was just like, well, that was kind of funny. She kind of roasted him, LOL. But he does care about me a lot, and so it wasn't easy for him to hear that. And that, again, that's the reason. Caring is freaking hard. But we all, I assume, most of us, have experienced caring about someone before. And it's freaking hard and it's scary. And that's why a lot of people they try to be unvulnerable, because being vulnerable and caring about someone so much that it affects your well-being when someone is mean to them sucks. It's way easier if we just laugh and say, haha, that was funny, Jenny roasted him. But it's not always that way. We can't always just ignore that kind of thing. Sometimes it really does cut us deep when someone says something mean about someone that we really care about, or that for whatever reason we have the preconceived notion that they're going to be treated poorly because, I don't know, maybe in this situation, my brother has seen me with other people that treated me poorly, and so now he's sensitive that, I'm going to be treated poorly again because he saw it in the past, and now he has this preconceived notion that people in my life are going to hurt me, and that sucks for him because he's gone through this again and again, and every time he has to see people hurt me, and it freaking sucks to see someone that you care about being hurt again and again. So for him, that's really hard. And I think, again, we're sitting here and we can be conscious of that fact that, again, empathetic, I guess, is the right word, because we want to be able to relate to how they're feeling. We want to feel bad that they have to feel bad. I don't want my brother to have to hurt for me, but he does hurt for me because he's seen me hurt. And it's tough, and no one wants to feel like that, and it makes you act out. And I think we've probably all been there where we maybe said something mean in the heat of a moment like that. And in my opinion, this is just how I feel, we can't really be necessarily blaming people. And again, this is not a universal thing, right? I fully acknowledge that sometimes people might just genuinely have a shitty family. I'm more so speaking in a situation where you can understand why they would feel like that. Again, sometimes maybe you just had the bad luck and they don't really care about you. They just want to manipulate you, and they don't want to see you happy, so they're going to try to make you break up with Jenny because they find it funny to see you suffer. I don't know, but some families could probably be like that. But I think for the majority of people, it's understanding that most of the time we don't control those emotions. Maybe they have a preconceived experience because someone else in their life had a partner who always called them fat and was an asshole to them. And so now they're sensitive to that because they had that happen in their life, where maybe another one of their friends had a situation like that, or another one of their siblings or someone else had a situation like that. And now they're kind of sensitive to that. Most of the time, we're not choosing what we are sensitive to, or what upsets us, what triggers us, what gives us anxiety. Most of the time, it's things that we've experienced in our life that maybe you don't understand fully. And that's why that is the key to why it is so important to have those conversations, because otherwise you might never know. If you don't have that conversation and talk to them about it, you might just think, well, my brother's just an asshole. Whereas you might have that conversation, your brother might go, yeah, it really sucks because I had a really good friend in high school who kept ending up with these girls that treated him like that and were just assholes to him, and I tried to get through to him, but he would just always ignore my advice, and then we stopped talking because he would hang out with he would only spend time with this asshole girl who didn't treat him well, and it hurt me, and so we grew apart. And I don't want that to happen with you, where you have a girlfriend who, kind of brings us apart. She's an asshole and treating you badly, and it's about being vulnerable and being able to have that conversation, because it's not an easy conversation to have. It's not easy to say, this is not, when you act emotionally, to be able to say I understand that Jenny, is a good person, but here's why I reacted that way, because I'm sensitive to that, because I was hurt before in a situation like that, and so now I'm sensitive to it. It's not easy to admit that you're sensitive to something or that something bothers you, because especially I feel like, and maybe I'm projecting here, but I think as guys, and I don't know, most people listening to my podcast are male, I think. So it's not, we're not expected to have these emotions and feel things and say, like, I'm traumatized by this emotional thing that happened in the past. You know what I mean? We're supposed to be tough and badass. So I think it's particularly tough to be vulnerable and say, like, yeah, I'm weak. This is something that, and it's not really that you are weak, but sometimes it can feel like that you're admitting that you're weak. That, yeah, this really upsets me. I'm a little bit, sensitive to that. It's a trigger warning for me talking about this kind of thing because I've been hurt by it in the past, and I don't want to be hurt again. And so naturally, that's how I respond because it's sensitive to me, and I'm tired, and I don't want to be hurt again. That really hurt me when I lost my friend because he would, he chose this girl who treated him like crap over me, when I was always there for him and just cared about him. And, maybe in this situation, your brother who was hurt in that situation, the friend was kind of the asshole, and your brother handled it well, talked to him about it, and the friend was just kind of blind to it, or whatever it may be. We don't know. And maybe the friend would eventually realize that he messed up and, say, hey, I'm sorry that I treated you like that back in the day. I was an ass, however it may go. But it's not necessarily a situation where anyone is the villain. It can, or maybe someone is the villain. We don't know. The situations can vary. They can fluctuate one way or the other, and it's not always black and white. It's not always just very obvious who the asshole is and who the hero is in a story like this. It can be that both people are heroes, or that both people kind of acted like assholes, and the situation was just handled really badly. That does happen, and I think that's why it's important, again, to talk and be able to see things from another person's perspective, even if it makes no sense to us, even if we've never had that situation, like in that example where someone ditched us for a partner or something, and that was treating them badly. Even if we've never had that situation, it's important to say, like, yeah, I can see how that would be really hurtful, that you put your heart and soul into someone as a friend, and then they kind of just stab you in the back or don't give a shit about you, and you're trying to look out for them. I can see how that would be hurtful, and I think it's, like, I don't know, it's important to see things from other perspectives other than your own, and it's something, again, that I try to do. Something that is a gradually thing you can work on. Something I always have, where I sometimes come across in these videos, for example, saying, like, just do this thing that extroverted people can do. It's very easy. And then, stopping to say, like, oh yeah, not everyone is super extroverted. That could be really, really hard for them if they're not like that. So it's just a matter of, trying to understand other viewpoints, even if you really can't fathom it. Even if you say, like, man, how are people introverted? Like, that's crazy. I just talk to them. It's so easy. It's important to at least try and say, yeah, I mean, I get it. Like, someone could be mean to you if you're extroverted, or you could have a bad interaction. A lot of people are assholes in the world. So, like, yeah, I could see that. And just try. Even if you won't ever fully understand, trying is the important, I think, aspect here. And even if you won't fully understand why your brother reacted that way because you've never been through it, you can say, like, I think, again, anyone could understand, yeah, it would suck to be betrayed by someone I care about, or it would suck to see someone I really care about being called a mean name or being acted rudely to by someone. Like, even if that doesn't, like, super trigger upset you, even if it's just like from a basic level, like, yes, I understand the fact that it would feel bad if you really care about someone and someone else said something mean to them. I think we could all understand that on a basic level. Again, even if it's not super triggering and traumatizing to you, it's just a basic thing, right? I care about them. Yes, someone being mean to them would hurt because I don't like to see them hurt because I care about them. I think everyone in the world, hopefully, at least everyone listening to this, you got me at least, has someone that cares about them or that they care about. So that's like the minimum you should understand. I hope that anyone listening here, probably my friend, I hope that if you ever see someone being super mean to me, it would upset you in some regard. And I'm not talking about jokingly teasing or being mean. I'm talking about like if someone was actually just a straight up dick and being an ass to me, that you would probably wouldn't like it. That's pretty normal behavior to feel not good when someone is mean to, especially to someone that you care about, and to get a little defensive. I definitely have been one to get extra defensive over people I care about because I always see myself in more of like a protector role, so I feel like I'm obligated to protect. And I think in the scenario I gave, assuming it's like my big brother, they would also feel obligated to protect, as a big sibling. I feel obligated to protect my brother. If someone was a dick to him, I would defend the hell out of him because I'm the big brother, and that's my job to protect him, right? And so, yeah, I think it's just about seeing things from another perspective and being able to say, yeah, I get why they did it. Even if I don't agree with the way they handled it, even if I don't fully understand it, to be able to say on a very basic level, yeah, they did this because that's how people act sometimes. They act emotionally. And I think, that's definitely like one of the biggest things I would say I've gained over the past couple years is a much better ability to see things from other people's perspective, because it's really easy to get kind of in your own bubble, or to kind of be focused on only, the way that you think and the way that you see things, because yeah, you are the only person that has your thoughts, right? Like that's the thoughts that you have every day, your own, right? So it's like it's understandable, but I think being able to see things from other perspectives and to be able to understand why, that's one of the bigger things I think in terms of connecting with people, is to fully understand their motivations, or what makes them tick, or why things affect people the way I do. And I've always been one eager to learn about that and to talk about those things. And it's something that I have even gotten better about talking about myself. And like, this is why this kind of thing upsets me, because I had this happen before and stuff like that. And I'm always eager to learn the backstory and understand, because it's very easy to think like, oh, someone's just immature. That's why they feel like they react like this when this thing happens. Well, they should just get more mature, bro. It's that easy. Just get more mature. It's like, why don't you just do that? Why did you never think of that? You're crazy. When in reality, we can take some time to learn, and maybe they would be interested in talking to us about why they feel like that, because they don't like the fact that they react in that negative manner when this happens either. That's like, no one wants to be seen as the person who gets upset every time that you, I don't know, what's the random thing you talk about that, I don't know, whatever it may be, like you tease them about not having a job, I don't know, whatever it may be, and then they say, yeah, well, it really bothers me because my mom I always talk to her every week, and she says that shit to me too, in a really hurtful way. I know you're just joking, but she says it really hurtfully, like that I'm a lazy, unemployed ass, and so I'm sensitive to it because I hear that a lot, or whatever it may be. That's kind of extreme, but just using it as an example, like to understand, yeah, maybe I should be, conscious of this, or that I can try to be better, because this person would rather be able to laugh at the joke as well, but it's not a joke for them. It actually hurts them, and here's the reason why. And it's easy to say, again, like, oh, well, they should just toughen up or whatever, but no one chooses to be sensitive to things, I think. People are sensitive to things for a certain reason. Maybe they spent their whole damn life getting abused, or talked down to and stuff, and so they're sensitive to that because they they hang out with their friends for a safe space, so they don't really like being teased. It's not what they, and some people love that shit. Some people love, that's all they do, is they are going to be talking shit when they're with their friends, teasing each other, and some people love that. And some people might be a little sensitive and go like, I don't like that. I get abused plenty by my family. I come to hang out with you guys so that we can all be nice to each other. You know what I mean? Or something like that. Um, and maybe you are the one who, your family's really nice. Everyone gets along. And so when you see your friends, it's open season. Let's all tease each other and be pretty ruthlessly mean to each other because we're friends. It's allowed. We're just joking. When really someone else in the group might say, "Hey, I really need that safe space where we can all be nice to each other because my home life generally is not like that. So I really need that short escape." And I think we all can understand needing an escape from whatever it may be. For me, when I'm on vacation or something, I don't think about work. I don't want to talk about work. I don't want to do any of that because for me, my escape is I work a lot. So when I go on vacation, I need an escape from that. And I don't need an escape from people, for example, people being mean to me because people are pretty nice to me in life. So I'm okay there, but I am sensitive to the fact that I work a lot and I'm overworked. So I might, say I really need to not be talking about work while we're here on vacation. Let's just enjoy the vacation. Whereas someone maybe who doesn't work as much or has a more healthy, work-life balance would say that's weird. It shouldn't be upsetting to you, but yeah, it's just about understanding that different people deal with different circumstances, different scenarios in their life. We all got dealt a different hand. We all have different upbringings. We all have different everything. And it's not always going to be the same. And it might be confusing to you. That's another thing that I think is something that people don't often understand when they move in with a partner. So you kids out there who have never lived with a partner, let me tell you about it. You have different, often, I guess theoretically, perhaps you could get lucky and you have someone who's exactly like you and grew up exactly like you. But for example, most families do things differently and you might, move in with your partner and they do things some weird way. Just as an example, maybe their family eats out all the time. Your family never eats out. So you want to cook all the time. And they're every day, all right, what are we ordering for dinner tonight? And you're like, we're not ordering out. It's a Monday, bro. We're going to make food at home. That's what we do. And they're like, no, we eat out every day. And it's one of those things where their family eats out every day. They grew up eating out every day. They don't really know how to cook or they're not used to having to keep things in the freezer because, you might need to pull out something quick to have for dinner at some point. They're not used to that. Whereas you, it bothers and they don't want to worry about it. It bothers them to have to pull something out and put it in the oven or cook it or whatever it may be that's upsetting to them. They're like, no, just order food, bro. That's how you do it. And then you're like, bro, why would we order food? We can just make food at home and it's cheaper. And that's what? I don't get it. That's just one example. There's a billion. But then you come to a compromise. I get that you do it this way. Maybe we can have some kind of split where, where we maybe can do, I don't know. You find a compromise. It's about finding a compromise, understanding where someone's coming from. Yeah, I get it. You're used to doing things that way. Doing things my way would seem confusing, just like for me, doing things your way seems confusing. So we need to find a compromise. And it's about understanding rather than just demonizing. Oh yeah, these idiots, they ate out all the time, wasteful, stupid idiots. They should have been cooking. It's important to understand that, we're all conditioned to live a certain way based on how we grow up. Growing up, with cheap parents versus parents who spend money freely. I remember, I guess there are some ways that you can grow out of that. Like my family, I grew up rather quite lower middle class. I don't want to say poor. That might be a stretch, but not very well off. And my parents are the parents who you go to the an event or something, which didn't happen all that often, mind you, but going to an event or the zoo or any kind of going out anywhere, right? And then you go to those places, or even oh, we got free tickets to a baseball game. We can go to a baseball game or something, right? Going to an event like that, my parents were the type looking at the prices of everything, right? Like, hey, can I get a cotton candy? No, that's $4, dude. What? That's a waste of money. That's crazy. And I'm just like the little kid, like, I just want some damn cotton candy, bro. Like, who cares? And so I grew into a person who I never let those kind of things stop me, to an extent, right? I think I found a healthy balance where I do acknowledge sometimes shit's expensive and maybe I shouldn't do it every day. But like, just as an example, like eating out, or like even something simple like getting a drink at Starbucks, right? Starbucks is expensive. And I don't get it very often, mind you, but like Starbucks is expensive. Is it overpriced? Yes. But if I really, really, and honestly, it doesn't happen very often, if I really, really want a Starbucks drink, I get it. Nowadays, if I go to a theme park or a sporting event or whatever it may be, I get whatever I want. If I want those nachos, but the nachos are $2 more than the hot dog, just as an example, or whatever, if I really want the nachos, I'm getting the dang nachos. I'm aware that, yeah, the hot dog's probably the better deal. It's a couple dollars cheaper. It's technically more filling than chips and stuff, nachos. But I want the dang nachos. I work hard. I'm getting the nachos. And that's something that I always kind of, and maybe for my parents, like as an example, that wasn't a thing that mattered to them. But I never wanted to live a life where I had to go to Disneyland and say, oh, I can't get the churro because it's $4. That's a ripoff. Sure, it's a ripoff. Can I afford it? Will I be homeless if I get it? No. Can I afford it? Yeah, I can. Okay, then life is freaking hard. Eat the dang churro, you know? Enjoy yourself. It's okay. Without overdoing it, right? Because there's a limit. If you do all that shit all the time and you just spend money frivolously, then you know, that's bad. You're going to be poor. But if I really, for example, like really, really, really wanted a pizza, really craving it, I've had a hard week, I'll just get the dang pizza, dude. I understand I have food at home, whatever. Now, mind you, I'm not going to do that every day because life is hard every day. But it's been a really long week, an exceptionally long week. I haven't spent any money this week. I want the dang pizza. Okay, I'm going to have the dang pizza, you know? So it's important to understand when to treat yourself and when to understand. Again, this whole conversation stemmed from the fact of understanding other people's point of views. We don't all live the same life. We don't all grow up in the same way. We experience life from a different lens. Whereas, again, some people might never be able to fathom. Then there's some other stuff like even something simple like my family would wait for to do laundry until, you know, we could fill a whole load, versus my partner's family who would do laundry, you know, a lot more frequently, for example. And it's like we're in a disagreement. It's like, well, we should just wait until we have, you know, enough clothes. That makes sense to me. That's how we did it growing up. And so we shouldn't do laundry once every 3 days because that wouldn't be a full load, right? We could do it once every 5 days, or once every week. That makes more sense to me. And then they're used to doing it. Well, I just like doing it every couple days so I can get my clothes right back out of the wash right away, and I don't have to wait until we do another load. It can just be right there right away. And it might make no sense to me. And in a situation like this, and this is not an actual example, by the way, I'm just trying to think of something that you could have a disagreement with. There's a many different ones. And while for me, it might make no sense to do the laundry every 3 days, and I might be thinking like, your family is stupid. They did it in a stupid way, bro. Like, you should do it when you have a full load. Like, why would you do it sooner? That makes no sense. You guys are dumb. I don't like that you guys did it that way. It's okay to have those little thoughts in your head, but at the end of the day, find a compromise that works for you and say, like, you know, whatever it may be. And again, it's kind of like that classic phrase, like, don't die on this. Do you want to die on this hill? Which is like the phrase of like, do you really want to like make this the thing that you're going to get an argument about? Do you care that much? Maybe you do. Maybe it's like I really don't like the fact that we're doing laundry every 2-3 days because it's kind of a waste of water, and like, you know, our water bill is high because of it. Like, it seems stupid. Maybe let's compromise. Or in this situation, for me, for example, like, I don't feel strongly one way or the other. So whatever side I was on, I'd probably just say, okay, that's fine. We can compromise and do it your way. I don't mind. Maybe there's something that matters to you. For example, the eating out one, I might be a little more adamant on, because I think that's just my personal opinion. I don't eat out all that much unless I'm getting the food for free from a casino. Smiles. But I don't spend money on takeout very often. When was the last time I ate out and spent money on it? Let me think. I guess when I visited my family in May, because I do that, because when I see them, it's restaurants that I don't get to get on my day-to-day basis, so I have to make use of it while I'm there for a couple times a year, you know? Oh, actually, that's not true. I mean, I ate out when at LVSC and stuff, so on a normal life, when I'm not on a vacation, when was the last time that I spent money to eat out? It's a great question. I genuinely don't know. I can't think of one. Other than the times when I visited my family and when Leo and Kel were here. That's a good question. So for me, I'm a believer in you can spend your money more smartly than eating out and probably make better food at home. So let's just do that. And so that's one where I might say, like, eating out even 3 times a week is very wasteful. Like, can we find something that you like that we can make at home? Like, I don't even mind cooking it. If we can find something that you're okay with having, I have no problem with that, but we would save a lot of money if I make your, I don't know, let's say you really like fried chicken, so you want to go to KFC all the time. I can make you some fried chicken at home that'll be really delicious, and we could have, you know, kind of, it's not going to be the exact same, but it's going to be pretty dang good, and it's going to be, you know, whatever the price of chicken is at the time, couple dollars a pound, depending on where you're buying it from, versus, you know, KFC, where it's going to be like $10 for a meal or however much it costs, as an example. So yeah, you might try to find a compromise, and that might be one where I'm a little more willing to die on the hill versus the laundry one where, quite frankly, I don't give a damn. But it is important to see things from another perspective and to understand that it's not always easy. It's not like they want to be spending money on eating out all the time. It's just the way that they grew up and the way that they're conditioned. It's what they're comfortable with. And maybe it's going to take some work, and maybe they're initially going to be, you know, they're not going to be in favor of the idea, because changing is scary, especially when you're, you know, you spent your whole life doing something and then you have to do it a different way. That's freaking scary. So you have to be understanding that it might not just be like an, okay, it might be like a, like, yeah, like we can try that. And then like maybe on the very first day, they're like, bro, I just really want some KFC. I don't want to have to worry about waiting for you to cook it or sit here. Let's just go to KFC, or let's just order Uber Eats or whatever and just do it. It's important to understand that those kind of things are not going to be instant. And I think most people would understand that change is not that easy. Just like, you know, we talk about the example earlier of like my little brother. I think he needs to lose some weight, and he does. He's not in good health. But I understand that he's used to doing things a certain way, and that any change is hard. And so it wouldn't just be instant. And it's scary to even to start is scary, because doing scary things is scary. Again, seeing things from other people's perspective. Do I have to be told to eat healthy? No, it just kind of comes naturally to me. But someone else who grew up eating out all the time, eating fast food, that might be really, really, really scary, and they are hesitant to do it because it's scary. They might need some patience while they get brave to do this scary thing for them. Again, seeing things from other people's perspective. That's not scary to me, but could I see how, if I'm used to eating only fast food, cooking healthy things at home might be kind of scary? Yeah, I mean, sure, I don't fully get it, because I grew up in a household where we ate at home all the time and ate pretty healthy. So it just comes naturally to me. But can I see how, if you only eat fast food, that, you know, trying to eat a salad is going to be a little scary? Sure, I can see that. Even if I disagree with it, I could understand it to some extent. And it's something that, you know, we could try to work on gradually. You don't have to move Everest in a day. Is that how the saying goes? Probably not, but you probably can't move Everest anyway. It's pretty dang big, I think. So, yeah, I don't even think. In fact, I actually know that. I don't know a lot about geography and stuff, but I do know Mount Everest is big. That is your lesson of the day. If you never knew that, now you know. I just taught you so good. In the midst of learning about feelings, you just got a little geography lesson in the middle of it. Isn't that pretty cool? You know, this is a multi-educational channel we have here. We be teaching you about everything. I mean, honestly, I'm probably one of the least educational channels, but maybe a little emotional intelligence. I don't know. I I don't know. I think emotional intelligence is the most important intelligence. It's how you have relationships in work and in anything. And I always talk about how in my career, my wonderful 13 plus year career, I've always, the reason why I've thrived is not because of any merit I have. And it's not like I'm a complete worthless idiot when it comes to doing my job. But the reason I've extra thrived is because I'm a people person and I vibe well with people and I have emotional intelligence. I'm there for people when they need it. And so I have the strength in that regard. Whereas, yeah, people that are more talented than me over the years have been let go, have been laid off, etc. Because at the end of the day, you want to be around someone that you like, that makes you feel good, that makes you happy, that has emotional intelligence that you can have a conversation with and enjoy that time versus, just someone who's smart, who reads books real goodly. It's like I want to feel something. I want to feel something with someone. Then that's very important because it's not something you ever learn. It's not something you ever formally learn, right? Whereas like maybe in school you formally learn math, for example, right? They don't have a class. At least I don't think so. Maybe in college or something they might have some kind of class, but generally speaking, they don't have like a how to be socially aware and get along with people class. Like that honestly would be really, really useful for a lot of people, I think, but it's not something we're generally taught. That we just, you just learn it because, you go through life, and that's hopefully you got some level of learning that, hanging out with people, being around people. But it's hard because you didn't, if you're doing it wrong, generally speaking, no one like comes up to you and says like, hey, by the way, you're really socially unaware and you're really like dumb and you're really annoying to hang around with. If you get someone who says that to you, I mean, that you could be lucky for hearing that, even though that sounds like a really asshole thing to say. You might be lucky if someone says that to you because I'm just saying, most of the time people don't say that to you, and if you're unaware, then you're just going to be unaware. I can think of some people, no one listening to this for sure, obviously, but I can think of some people in my life who probably would benefit from hearing, like, just so you know, you're not very socially aware, and you're doing this thing that you're very clearly out of the loop socially, and you should take a step back and try to understand better how to integrate with people because yeah, you're not doing very good. I'm sorry to say. It sucks to hear. We don't want to hear that. But it is what it is, it sucks. It sucks to hear. But sometimes you might have to hear it. Sometimes you might have to because we don't learn it. We don't learn it firsthand. It's something that you just get in time. And so, yeah, it is what it is. It's hard. It can be hard to hear. I'm sure it would be hard to hear if someone ever came up to me and said, Raichu, you're kind of very socially unaware. I think, knock on wood, I think I'm pretty socially aware. But if someone ever came up to me and said that, it would be hard to hear. But I think it would be beneficial because, yeah, it's the only way you're going to learn. Otherwise, you'd, just rolling the dice and hoping that you will act correctly, right? Or I don't know how to say it. Like you hope that you will not act like an idiot in social situations. But you don't know. You don't get reviews, right? You take a test in school. You get a little. You get a grade, right? You get a grade that says, yeah, you did good at stuff. You learned really good. Nice job. You got an A. No one says like, at the end you have like a social hangout. That'd be useful though, honestly. Like you have this, I think people that are socially aware can go like, that wasn't my best night socially. But like, you don't get a grade. It's not like, I hung out with friends last night. Oh, what's my grade? Oh, I got an A+. I was really good to be around. Or like, oh, I got a C. I was kind of acting a little lame or, whatever it may be. It's like, no one gives you those reviews. But my friends, I think those reviews, they might be kind of useful. It's hard. social awareness, it's a hard thing. Try your best. That's all you can do. Learn from your mistakes. If you upset someone, try to do better next time. You bother someone, try to do better next time. That's all you can do. And I think that is a good outro for this episode of just being able to understand how others are feeling. So, my friends, that is about it. We have finished episode number 35. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back next month, as we always are. Let's see. So that today is April 27th. Well, it's not. Fun fact, I don't record on the actual day. That would be impossible. Next month, the final episode will debut on Memorial Day, May 25th. So I hope that you will be there. I'll be here for sure. Hope you will be too. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you in the next one.